welcome. Happy Tuesday morning or afternoon, based on based on wherever you are. By way of quick introduction, my name's Danny Beck. Quick background on me: I spent the first 7 years of my career doing investment banking and corporate strategy stuff. The last 15 years I have spent doing product, and the last year and a half I've been sort of living very deep in the world of generative AI. I'm the founder of a company called Pastel. And with Pastel, you can tell Pastel a story and it transforms that story into really delightful digital picture books for kids. For those that are interested, I'll drop it in the chat and you're welcome to check it out. I just launched like 2 weeks ago. So if you're interested in trying it out, feel free to join the waitlist and I'll send around some invites later this week. So, uh, let me kind of set the scene for this conversation. And I want it to be a conversation. I'll kind of go through a bunch of steps and I'll pause along the way for people to ask questions and share comments or ideas or whatever you might like. For me, I've spent a lot of time with video generation tools lately, and this actually was inspired by over the summer before I decided to build and launch Pastel, I started looking for a job. And I wanted to find a way to stand out on LinkedIn and with recruiters who were seeing lots of regular resumes. So I decided to learn how to create videos with AI, and I created a video version of my resume and a bunch of information about me. So what I thought I'd do is I'd start by playing that for everyone. It's only about 50 seconds. I'm looking at it right now. It's 48 seconds. And it'll give you an idea of kind of how I think about approaching creating videos and give you a sense of some of the value that it might create for you. And that'll be the lead into to what we're going to do today. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you all can see it all right. Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to play this, and this will give you a sense of the types of things that you can create with AI and what we'll create today.
Hey, LinkedIn. After a year of experimenting and fractional work, I'm looking for my next product leader role. I love adrenaline and speed in life and in building products. I have a tale of two careers. The first 7 years in M&A and corporate strategy, and the last 15 years building products, taking big ideas from 0 to 1 and then scaling them. I have turned bold ideas into real products across marketplaces, fintech, e-commerce, autonomous vehicles, and generative AI. For the last year, I've been solo building with AI, things like a dog food finder for our new puppy, and Benjamin, an AI analyst that helps PE firms evaluate acquisitions in minutes. I'm looking for a product leader role in vertical AI or autonomous robotics. If you're hiring or just want to chat, send me an email.
Okay. So that was what I created over the summer. Was really fun. It kind of grabbed a lot of attention on LinkedIn, led to a bunch of really interesting job conversations, and then I decided to go build a company. So I stopped interviewing for jobs. Um, but that's the type of thing that we're gonna create today. The theme that I thought would be fun is instead of creating a resume, because you'll learn the skills to go do that. But I thought I'd do a little bit of something that's a kind of more timely given the time of year it is, and it's right before Thanksgiving and the holidays. So I thought what we would do is we would create a holiday video about our family or about my family, and I'll walk you through how we do it. And then you can go create your own holiday video. You can go create your own resume. I will give you prompts and tools on how to go do all this stuff yourself. You do not need to be an engineer to do any of this. I am not an engineer, and I hope we'll have some fun together. So, with that said, let's jump in. First, by the way, there are 0 slides in today's presentation. I will share around a Google Doc with you afterwards that has a list of all the prompts that I'm going to be using throughout the day today. So you don't need to worry about kind of taking notes on any of that stuff. But I figured we would spend more time with the tools than staring at slides. Let's first talk about the workflow. So we're going to create this video in a handful of steps using 4 different tools. So the first tool we're going to use is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is going to help us create a storyline and a script for our video. Then we'll use Gemini, and Gemini will help us create characters and initial scene for the video. We're going to use a product called Whisk, which is from Google Labs, to actually create video scenes from the images. And then we'll pull it all together in a tool called Descript. And you'll see what each of those things what each of those things looks like. So let's start off by jumping into ChatGPT, and I am going to share my screen, and we're going to start a new chat in ChatGPT. So the first thing we need is we need a script. And as I've thought about what some good kind of principles are for creating a great holiday story, my goal for us is to aim for a video that's about 2 to 3 minutes long. I think it would be nice to start and end with a family scene. And then I have a bunch of people in my family. So what I'll do is I'll give each person in my family one or two solo scenes throughout the video and pick an overall theme. So what I've done to prep for today is I've listed out each of the people in my family, at least my kids. So I have 3 kids, an 11-year-old named Cameron, an 8-year-old named Oliver, and a 4-year-old named Vivia. And the theme that I decided to do for my holiday video is kind of like a year in review. So under each of my kids' names, I listed 2 or 3 kind of things that they did this year that I thought would be fun to include in a video. So for example, my 11-year-old Cameron learned how to play electric guitar and joined a Metallica band. My 8-year-old Oliver got invited to join a gymnastics team. My 4-year-old Vivia went skiing for her first time in Park City. Right, so I jotted down a few of these things, and the reason that I jotted them down is because we're going to go create this script with ChatGPT, and the way that I like doing this is just a lot of talking at ChatGPT. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need ChatGPT to help us create a script. There's a prompt that I'm going to use to have ChatGPT help us create a script. I'm going to paste it into ChatGPT and then I'll explain what's in it. So let's copy and paste this in. So now you can see my prompt, right? So my prompt says I'm going to use Gemini Flash Image to create a year in review holiday cartoon video. Here are all the people in my family, including our dog and my wife's horse. Um, we're going to use a video style. I like the 3D cartoon style for these videos, so I want to tell it that. Each scene is going to be about 7 seconds long. The reason it's 7 seconds long is that is the length of videos that Whisk creates. And Whisk is this AI video generation tool we're going to use. So what do I want it to do? I want it to use the context that I'm going to share below and create a script. The script should comprise an opening scene, 2 to 3 scenes about each human character, and a closing scene. The script should each have, for each 7 second scene, should include the following information. We need a location for that scene. We need what the characters are wearing. We need a speaking script for each character, what the character's voice should sound like, how fast they should talk, what actions they're doing. Is there any background music we want? Some general guidance, you'll see what that means, and then video production notes. And what I'm going to give it is an example of a scene. So this is a scene example that I've used for a bunch of the videos that I've created. So in this scene example is the introduction, 0 to 7 seconds. The location, we're going to actually use this in a little bit. The location is a park with leaves changing on the trees and a rustic barn in the background. All the characters are in fall attire. There's an audio track of one of the characters talking. Here's the character's tone of voice and talking speed and so on and so forth. So in
Danny,
this,
could you
yes.
do us a favor? Is it possible to copy paste that prompt in the chat?
Um, I certainly can if folks want it. I'm going to share a
Yes.
document with all of it, but
Yeah, some folks I think want to actually do it with you, try to see if they can do it with you.
sure. Here you go. Oops. Okay. Uh-oh, it's too long. I have to cut it into pieces. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so there's the first part. And there's the second part. There's the third part. Okay, everyone can see that now?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, so now we've got all this, and now what I need to do is I need to actually tell ChatGPT about us, right? So I'm gonna keep out the part about like my wife and I, and what I'm gonna do is go back to my notes about my kids, and I'm going to just talk about stuff that they each did this year. And what I like doing is just dictating into ChatGPT. So you're going to hear a little bit of my dictation for fun. I'm not going to go through the whole thing for the whole video, but you'll get a sense of what I mean. My 11-year-old Cameron had a fantastic year. He has been taking guitar lessons since last summer, and this year decided to join a Metallica band and did 2 live performances at Penn Social in Washington, D.C. He fell in love with rock climbing and decided to join a rock climbing team. And when we were out in Park City skiing in March, he skied his first double black diamond run. So there's a few things about my son Cameron. It'll dictate that and add it. Now I'll do the same thing about my daughter Vivia and my son Oliver. My 8-year-old Oliver had a great year too. He got invited to join the gymnastics team at Fairfax Gymnastics Academy. He also decided to do Vienna Jammers again because he loves playing the marimba. And Oliver skied his first black diamond run when we were in Park City this year. Then last but not least, my daughter Vivia. So Vivia had a wonderful year as well. She became absolutely obsessed with gymnastics this year and does gymnastics 2 times a week. She also fell in love with swimming and now takes swim lessons at Goldfish and is pretty good at doing freestyle and backstroke. She went skiing out west and did her first green run when we were in Park City this year. And then I'll do one about our family. Last but not least, we took a family trip to ski in Park City in March when everyone had a fantastic time. And the summer in August, we did a trip to Acadia National Park and did a bunch of hiking. Okay, so now we have this full prompt that you all have seen, and I've given it this context about everyone in the family. And I'm just going to click go. And hopefully what happens is a full year in review script that gets generated. So we have some important style notes for each scene. And just like I asked for, it's giving us an opening scene with a location, some character descriptions, a speaking script for the main character, the voice, talking speed, and actions and background music, right? So it's giving us all the things that I asked for in my prompt. Our next scene is about Cameron's Metallica performance, then his first double black diamond. Then we'll do Oliver's gymnastics team, him playing in the Vienna Jammers, and Vivia doing gymnastics and swimming. Some of it is not perfect, right? This sort of first ski run, I guess. Actually, yeah, that's scene 7 under Vivia. And then some information about Jackson Clark, our dog and horse. So what I would do if I was sort of going through this for real is I would spend a lot of time editing this script. I would probably drop it into a Google Doc and then I'd adjust it and copy and paste things and add missing things. But hopefully this gives you an 80%, 90% of the way there for a script that we are going to create. Let me pause there for a moment before we move on to actually creating some scenes and characters. And please jump in if you've got any questions.
Not questions, but we do have a couple of comments. I just want to point out Richa Sue said that they love this idea. Market is so real, spent 5 years at Shutterfly working on photo books and holiday cards. Constantly heard from users that who didn't want paper for
Nice. I see it.
sustainability.
Yeah.
This is exactly right.
Perfect.
So
Awesome. Okay. So with our script ready, what I'm going to do is then go and create our characters. We need to know what these characters are going to look like. And for that, I'm going to jump over to Gemini.
I actually had a question, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, I see that you're using your subscription of ChatGPT. Do you happen to have any markdown files? Is ChatGPT actually learning more about your family and about each family member? Are you noticing that they're actually add in some inferences from past scripts that you might have created?
I don't talk. This is my own personal ChatGPT subscription, so I use it. It knows a lot about me. It doesn't know a ton about my family, so I wouldn't think that it was necessarily inferring anything, which is why I take a lot of time in this instance, right? You heard me talk about each of the kids, and I gave it enough information that it could likely come up with a script. And since each of these scenes is only 7 seconds, right? It
Mm.
doesn't need that much information to come up with a scene. What'll be really important now is when we transition into Gemini, this is where we're going to create the characters so that they actually look like the people in our script. Right? So I'm going to go to my first scene and I'm
Nadine
going
has a
to
question. Is
oh,
ChatGPT better than using Claude?
God.
For
Um, I don't know. I default to ChatGPT for everything other than coding tasks. All right, so we are going to create character reference images in Gemini. This part's fun. So here's our location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a prompt. I'll drop this in for everyone as well, but give me a second to edit it. This was one that I was playing with earlier. So I'm going to give it the location, right? So the scene. So I'm saying create a landscape image of all the people in the photos. You'll see what that means in a moment. The scene should be a snow-covered neighborhood, street. So that's come right from here, right from our opening scene location. Right now, I'm just going to have it create a background scene and get the people in it and just say the image should be zoomed in enough that it takes up everyone's full bodies. The style of the subject in the scene should be playful, cinematic with clean and warm modern look. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add pictures of me and my family. And all I'm going to do is I have a few pictures uploaded, saved rather in a folder. So let's see, here's one of me and my wife. Here is one of Cameron and Oliver. Here is one of Vivia. We're going to add my dog Jax, and we'll add the horse Clark for good measure. So you can see I've uploaded a bunch of images of my family. And now with this simple prompt, we're going to see what Gemini puts together. Fingers crossed. See, this is way more fun than slides. I have found, by the way, that Google's launch of Nano Banana Pro this week has actually made these images much, much better, even than it was amazing like a few months ago, and now it is even better. Suchita, if you don't want to upload a family photo, I would say upload whatever people you want to be in your family video. If you want to have descriptions of what those people look like, you're welcome to sort of verbally describe what those people look like and use those, and it will create people that look similar to those descriptions. They just won't look as similar to you as you might want them to. So created a decent photo of image of my family and I, right? Not bad. For future images, I actually don't want hats on the kids because it'll make it more difficult. So I'm just going to say remove hats from the kids in the photo, in the image, let's say. Oh yeah, it missed the dog and the horse. We can add them too. There you go. So the hats are gone. Now let's add Clark and Jax. I'll just copy and paste this prompt that I use so everyone can see it. You know what? It probably didn't include Clark and Jax because I used the word people here in the prompt instead of all the characters in the photo. But there was that prompt. While this is generating, what we're going to do next. Oh, there you go. Okay. It didn't do it landscape. So let's make it landscape. What we're going to do next is we're going to need to extract each of the characters from the image, and we're going to put them on a white background so that it's really easy for the video creation models to use each character, and you'll see why in a little bit. Let's give this one more shot. If it gets it right, great. If not, we'll probably just go with this one without the dog and the horse, and we can always come back and edit it later. Perfect. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to download this. And while that's downloading, I'm going to ask it to extract the characters from the image and create a new image with for each character on a white background.
Kumar asks, is that like a green screen?
Is what, like the white background?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't put it on a white background just because it makes it when we go into the video creation, well, there are going to be a lot of different scenes. So by putting the character on the white background, there's no distraction. I try and minimize the distractions for the video model when I'm asking it to do specific things. Perfect. So here's all of our characters. I'm going to download that. And now we're actually ready to go start creating the first scene in our video. So for creating our video, actually, let me pause for a moment. I realize I'm moving fast. So let me, oh yeah, it missed my daughter Vivia. Thanks, Nadine. So again, if I was doing this and taking my time, I'd go and make sure all these things are there. But for the sake of today, we'll move a little quicker. Any other questions before I move forward? No? Okay. So this is a product called Whisk. You can all go access it. You don't need any special access. It's from Google Labs, so it's not one of their widely deployed products, but you can go get free access to it. And in Whisk, what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new project. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open the sidebar and I'm going to add a subject image. So we need to give Whisk a starting point, and our starting point is going to be the family image that we created earlier. So the way Whisk works is you can add an image to Whisk, and then it will create a bunch of different variants of that image if you want, and it will animate that image. So we now have our image in Whisk. Really important if you're using Whisk, this yellow check mark means that your image has been selected as the reference image for Whisk to use for whatever prompt you're going to give it. If you don't have that image checked, it will create a bunch of random stuff, right? Totally unassociated to your image. I've definitely been guilty of that before. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are just going to tell Whisk, use the subject image as my starting image. And all that does is pull the image into Whisk. It's kind of a silly way to start, but you can use regular photos here and have it generate images. The problem is Whisk has parental, like a bunch of parental controls or like child controls in it, so it won't generate an image of a child from a photograph, but Gemini will, right? So I need it. Whisk won't do that, which is why we started there in Gemini. So here are our two images. Now what we're going to do is we're going to animate this. So we are going to, I'm going to paste a prompt in here. I'll also put it in chat so everyone can see it. Let's see. All right. So here's the prompt. I'm going to put it in the chat so everyone can see it as well. You'll notice that it has a bunch of these sort of minus signs. It's because when you paste things into Whisk, it gets rid of all the formatting and I use the minus sign to make it clear where there's a difference in the type of information that I'm giving Whisk, so it creates good models, creates good video. So I tell it to animate the image. I give it a speaking script for the character. I tell it the character's voice, the talking speed, right? All these things that were in our script from here is all there, right? So the character voice, the talking speed, all the actions, that kind of stuff. So we copy and paste it in. Oops, wrong tab. And I'm just going to have it generate. This usually takes a minute, 1 or 2 minutes. So while it's generating, what we're going to do is I'll just give you a preview of where we're going. So let me recap what we've done and where we're going. So we started in ChatGPT. I gave you all a prompt that you'll be able to use on your own that outputs a very specific format from ChatGPT. Here's all the script that you need to be able to go create your video with scenes and descriptions and talk tracks and all this other kind of stuff. We then took that, we went to Gemini, and we created our first scene with all of our characters in it using real photos of my family. Right? We were able to edit the photo and get it to the starting scene that we wanted. And then we took that starting scene and said, we need all these characters standing on their own, just so that we have a clear reference for each of those characters for the future. We're not using that for the starting scene, but we will use it for the next scenes. And now we've got our first scene ready and we're asking it to animate. I see a question in the chat and I'll answer it in a minute. Let's just see what our video preview looks and sounds like.
Happy holidays! The Beck family had a wonderful 2025, and we're excited to tell you about it. Get ready for a year in review adventure. Happy holidays!
Okay, so now we have scene one, right? We could make edits to it. I could say, oh, well, the character doesn't quite look like me, or change my voice, or make the kids do something else. But that's where it would happen. If you wanted to make those changes, you could literally prompt in here and have it make some different change. I think I asked for snow falling. It's snow falling. I could have the dog, jump up and down or something like that. Or you could kind of do anything you want, and hopefully you get the gist. I see there are a few questions. So Nadine, are there any alternatives to Whisk in video production? There are tons of alternatives that you could use to Whisk. I have become comfortable using Whisk, so it was the one that I thought would be kind of best for us to use today. You could, I think, create videos using Google's VO3 model in Gemini. You can use platforms like Runway. All these things, there are all these different video generation platforms that are out there. What I personally like about Whisk is that it is super easy to use. It doesn't have crazy, all these different types of fancy controls. It's just really easy to use. Like you saw how easy we uploaded a photo, told it that we wanted it to do the reference image, and then gave it a prompt and it created this 7-second video. So it's constrained in that it can only do these 7-second videos, but it's super easy to use. And for me, that trade-off is fine. Let's see, what else? Is there a way to record your own voice for reference? In Whisk, no. In other programs, I believe you probably can, but I'm not certain. I haven't focused on that. Okay, so now let's say we have our first scene and we're fine with it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create our next scene. So if I go back to our script, our next scene is for Cameron. So we've got all of our information here. First, what I need to do is generate a scene for Cameron. So I'm going to go and first add, oh, you know what? Sorry, I skipped a step. Okay, we have our reference image. Give me a sec. I'm clicking around and I'll share my screen in a moment.
Now it makes sense why you had all your characters individually sectioned out in white because now you can just pick up Cameron and insert it, insert your
It-
prompt.
yes, exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, here, I'll share my screen. I'll share something else. So here is the image that we created that was just the family on white background, right? So I now have this open, and all I'm going to do is highlight Cameron. That's Cameron. And I'm going to tools and crop it. And now I have Cameron on his own. So I copied a version of that image. Now I have an image with just Cam. I'm going to add that image. There we go. It's going to analyze the image for a moment.
Danny, I think it might have accidentally stopped your screen share.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay,
We're
we
also
back?
fascinated. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so now we need to tell it what to do. So I have a prompt here. It says, use the selected image, create an image of the character, and then I need to describe what I want it to do and what the character should be doing. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and he should be wearing this. So wearing a black rock-on t-shirt, jeans and sneakers, a slight wrist sweatband. And then, let's see, the character should be, let's see what it said for our scene setting. Um, you know what? It didn't give us, oh, there you go. Should be on a small concert stage. All right, so the character should be on a small concert stage at Penn Social with soft-colored lights and cheering cartoon audience. And what it didn't do is say anything about his guitar. So what I'm gonna do is say, have the character holding a blue electric guitar, because that's what Cam's guitar looks like. So now, as a reminder, I don't have this image selected, but I do have this one selected for Cameron. So let's see. When I submit that prompt, what I like about it, it gives me kind of two image options that are tend to be kind of similar, but a good, a good variety to choose from. There's one, there's two. Okay. Um, let's see. We'll go with this one straight on. So I could refine this, and if I wanted to, I could give it prompts and it could make edits. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go animate it. So I'm going to go back to all of my script from ChatGPT, and I'm going to use the same prompt, similar prompt, I should say, that we had earlier. Oh, where'd you go? Too many windows open. So animate this into a video. We have the speaking script, the voice, the talking speed, actions, and some production notes. And just going to click go. So similar to last time, it'll generate us a version of the video. We'll see how it comes out. We can always edit it if we want to. And like I mentioned earlier, if you go and do this yourself, whether it's actually for a holiday family video or for your own video cartoon, spend time, look at the script, make sure it has all the things that you want in it. Because we're sort of doing this live and in real time. I'm copying and pasting things, obviously, but we'll probably spend quite a bit more time looking at what's in the text. So while this is working, let me pause. It'll take another minute. Anyone have any questions? How does this feel in terms of complexity versus what you expected? Excited to try it out. How did I learn this process? I went and searched around. I saw someone that had posted a video that kind of looked like this animation thing. I asked them what tool they used, and they told me Whisk. And then I spent about 6 hours trying to figure it out on my own. And like lots of trial and error. It took me a while to figure out the prompts that I needed and the elements of the prompts that I needed to get Whisk to do what I wanted it to. So that took a lot of iteration, actually, right? So hopefully some of the benefit you'll get is when I share all these prompts with you in a document, you'll be able to take all the elements from these prompts and put them into Whisk or VO3 or whatever you want to use, and it will create something that really kind of captures what you're going after. That was definitely the hardest part for me. So let's see how this one came out.
This year, I rocked out with the Metallica band and played live in DC. This year.
Pretty cool. Okay, so we now have a starting scene, a scene about Cameron. Let's do one more scene for Oliver, and then I'm going to jump into Descript and we will put it all together. Sorry, I see Erie has, is there a limit for the number of videos Whisk can create? So depending on the Google subscription that you have, you'll see that when I go into any of these videos,
Happy holidays.
oops, sorry. I have a certain number of generations, video generations. So image generations are unlimited. The video generations, depending on the subscription that you have to Google, you will end up with a certain number of them. I think when you first sign up, you get like 75 or 100 video generations. I used almost all mine creating my resume video because it took me so long to figure out the right prompting structure. Okay, so let's add Oliver. I need to crop him into a photo. So let's do this. I'm not sharing my screen from him, but I'm just doing the same thing I did earlier, which was cropping using just the crop tool on my Mac. Okay, now we have Oliver. We'll add him. And let's get our prompt ready for Oliver. So if I go back here, let's do Oliver's gymnastics team or split moment. That's a little complicated. I would not do a split moment between Vienna Jammers and skiing a black diamond run. So let's do Oliver's gymnastics team. So same as last time, what we need is our starting prompt to get an image ready. Let me find it. Sorry, give me one sec. There it is. Okay, so now I have Oliver selected and the others unselected. So here's my base prompt using the selected image. Create an image of the character, and now we need his description, right? So he should be wearing blue athletic tank top and bare feet. Okay. Now we need something about the scene. So he should be in Fairfax Academy. There we go. The character should be in, say, standing on a floor mat, bright indoor arena light. Okay, that's a pretty good starting point. Let's see what it creates for Oliver. All right, pretty good for Oliver. Let's now, I like this one because it has a little bit more color depth. So, whoops, I don't want to refine it. I'm going to animate it. So now let's see what it has for the animation. I made the gymnastics stand easier. Yeah, that's kind of boring. So we're going to update that a little bit. And we're going to say, there we go. And it says Oliver does a cartwheel and sticks the landing with arms raised. I like that. So now we've got, I love gymnastics. My favorite part is earning cookies. Uh, Actions. Here we go. The character should do a clean cartwheel and stick the landing. Background music should be upbeat music. And what else did it say? Production notes, add soft chalk dust when he lands with his arms up. Okay. All right, so now let's see what happens. So you can see I pulled all this stuff right out of our script, and I'm just putting it in here, and we'll see what happens. Any other questions from folks while we're sort of waiting for this thing?
Danny, quick question for myself,
Yeah,
selfishly. So when you said Google account, you have a Gemini Pro account, I saw. So because
I
of the
do.
Gemini Pro, yeah, so because of the Gemini Pro account, and this is on Google's Labs, I'm assuming that account enabled you to get the access to the 75 images or the 75 videos, right?
Actually, I believe when you first, anyone can sign up for Whisk,
Mhm.
and you don't have to have any paid Google account to do so, and you get an initial allotment of images. I think I now have a bunch more images because I have a Google Pro account and it gives me more each month. How do I see the AI video generation space evolving over time? I think it will be, look, I think it will be easier and easier for people to be able to create videos. For those of you that are interested and you go look at what I'm building with Pastel right now, what I'm building with Pastel, because I believe this space is going to be interesting and evolve and move more towards like personalized creator content for yourself, is with Pastel, you tell a story via voice. It transforms it into a digital picture book for kids. It does a voiceover in the voice of the storyteller to read a book to a child. And eventually, I will turn that book into a cartoon that a kid can watch and a game that the kid can play. Right? So I see, at least I believe that there will be this progression into hyper personalized videos and interaction, multimedia interaction methods. So it's part of why I enjoy so much spending time with all of this stuff because I'm excited to do it for my kids, frankly. Okay, let's see how this goes.
I love gymnastics and got invited to join the team this year. My favorite part is earning cookies during practice by doing hard skills. I love gym.
Okay, it did a handstand instead of a cartwheel. That was pretty good though. All right, so now we've got our video library, and I'm going to download each of these. So I'm going to download this video, I'm going to download this video, and I'm going to download this video. And each of those are now downloading. So now we have all these videos. What I need to do is actually tie them together. Right, so I'm now in Descript. Descript is a video editing platform. I find it super, super easy to use. They have really cost-effective subscription options. I think they might even have a free option. I believe that I got like a year free from Lenny's Pass or something like that. But I'm going to create a new project. It's a video project. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to upload my family video, and then I'm going to upload the video of Cameron, and then I'm going to upload the video of Oliver. and I'm going to call this Beck Family Holiday Video 2025. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is maybe I will add, oh, it added something already. Here, I want to add a intro. So it has my intro. I'm going to change the background so it looks a little bit more kind of fall-esque since it's that time of year. Hopefully all of you can see this. It added this weird thing here, so I'm going to delete that scene. Okay, so now without doing anything, I am going to play this and then we'll edit it together. So here we go.
Happy holidays! The Beck family had a wonderful 2025, and we're excited to tell you about it. Get ready for a year in review adventure.
This year, I rocked out with the Metallica band and played live in DC. I love gymnastics and got invited to join the team this year. My favorite part is earning cookies during practice by doing hard skills.
Okay, so we've got a pretty decent start to our video with it all tied together. What Descript makes really easy is making this thing sort of fluid, and you can easily add subtitles. So let's do a few things. One is in this video, there's a weird kind of
adventure.
Jumping motion at the end. Did everyone see that where it looked like all the characters were about to jump?
Review it.
So if I do this, like it's kind of weird right there. Everyone kind of bends down. So I'm just going to split the video right there. Okay, so that got
For a
rid
year in
of,
review adventure.
then it left this little piece in between, which is really hard to see. Oops, didn't want to do that.
Year in review adventure.
Okay.
I rocked out with the Metallica.
Now I want to add a transition. So I'm going to click here. And you see there's these transitions. I like doing just a crossfade transition. And I'm going to make it a half a second. And I'll do the same thing for the transition out. And I've just found that the crossfade is a good type of transition. So now when I move between these,
Happy holidays!
you can see the crossfade in.
Wonderful 2025, and we're excited to tell you about it. Get ready for a year in review adventure.
This year,
Okay. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll add a crossfade transition. And we'll give it a half a second.
I love
So could you see that it sort of went black for a minute and then transitioned between, and it just kind of makes it smoother. Okay, so now we've got our three scenes. They're sort of lightly tied together. We have our introduction, and the last thing I'm going to do is add some closed captions, and I can do that here easily by adding any of the different caption styles and apply it to any of my scenes. So they've got a lot of different caption styles. We'll just add this one in here. It'll apply all the caption styles. If I wanted to, there's a bunch of AI tools that I could use to improve the audio quality of the sound. If I was doing my own voiceover recording, it could remove filler words, change where the characters are looking so that it maintains eye contact. There's lots of cool stuff inside of Descript. But for now, we can see our whole video one last time.
Happy holidays! The Beck family had a wonderful 2025, and we're excited to tell you about it. Get ready for a year in review adventure.
This year, I rocked out with the Metallica band and played live in DC. I love gymnastics and got invited to join the team this year. My favorite part is earning cookies during practice by doing hard skills.
All right. So now we have our end-to-end video. It's only about 30 seconds, but we've been able to stitch a few scenes together. If I wanted to, I could change the highlight color in the voiceover, in the captions and all that kind of fun stuff. So last but not least thing to do is to share this thing. So we can go to export, and what you can do with Descript is you can either publish it to their website, and you can share that link with anyone. You can also do a local export and download a full file of it with different resolution quality. You can easily post it to YouTube if you wanted a YouTube embed, and all this other kind of audio exporting formats. Okay, I threw a lot at you. We were able to get through creating at least the beginning parts of a holiday video cartoon for the family here in about 55 minutes. If you wanted to do this for real, right, it would probably take you 3 or 4 hours or something like that. But the nice part is you could do it instead of creating like some postcard that would take you probably the same amount of time or more. And you get to email this to people. And I find that I have so much fun playing with these tools. Like, yes, it's work, but it's fun. And my wife has enjoyed watching them. My kids like sort of seeing how they turn out. And you can kind of go nuts with asking the AI to make small changes to make it look more or less like you or sound more or less like you, and see where it takes you. So that was it. We've got about 5 minutes left. To preempt the question, I will share, Kim, with you a Google Doc that has all the prompts that I use to create a sample video for my own holiday family video. And you all can use those as drop-in references and hopefully have some fun doing this yourself this weekend. All right, let's see. If anyone wants to, you're welcome to come off of mute and ask a question. I'll take a look at if there's any in the chat.
Hey, Danny.
You're right. You really become the orchestrator of using a bunch of these tools. Hey, Hussein, go ahead.
Hey, I'm just curious. Have you tried playing with different styles, like instead of like 3D animation, like maybe like a comic strip or like different like art styles by any chance?
I have a lot in with images, not so much with videos yet, at least.
Okay, cool, got it.
Yeah. Um, Nadine, I personally didn't have too many concerns creating this with AI. Like at least Google, right? I'm using I use a lot of Google models for this. They know so much about me and my family already between Gmail and everything I use in Gemini anyway. Like I've sort of accepted that, and find that the outcome of doing this is worth it for me and the family. Ramsey, go ahead.
Thank you so much for doing this. This was such an incredible tutorial, and I have so many ideas around it. But I was really thinking, I'm a UX researcher and strategist, and do go-to-market research on new products and customer research. So I feel like it's instead of doing like a storyboard, you could kind of do one of these. Of course, the trouble is always time versus input for creativity towards
Sure.
deadlines. But I would love to, I'm excited to kind of check it out for maybe a Christmas thing and then see if it can make it a little faster and do something that way.
I'm glad to hear. I've definitely gotten faster as I've gotten better at it. But there's what's the saying is like when you're doing something you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work, right? And for me, that's definitely been true with doing these types of videos and frankly building Pastel, which is very kind of AI and image and audio and video heavy. So it's fun. What I haven't had a chance to do yet is check out how VO 3.1 is that Google just released this week in Gemini. So I'll definitely be playing with that a bit myself. My sense is that it will probably create decent videos, but I really like the user interface of Whisk. It's really easy to use, and you could see where it will create multiple versions of images and videos that you can then iterate on really easily. And what I have found is, particularly with AI tools, if you just hand someone the tool and just say like, hey, this model can do all these things, there's a large burden for that person to figure out how to actually use it well. And I really appreciate tools where they make the usage of that model really easy and intuitive. Even if they take away some of the tuning knobs by doing it, if they make it really easy to use, I have found that I am a lot more successful. right? So that's a design principle that I have when I'm building Pastel. It's also something that I look for in the AI tools that I like using every day.
As a UX researcher, you speak close to my heart. But I also was kind of thinking, I'm doing some personal business projects on ADD, AI personal assistants for ADD, ADHD, and I was one of the things I liked about VR is being able to have an experiential understanding of a perspective that's not your own. And I
Mm,
think that that's something that could also be explored in this arena.
absolutely. All right, we've got 1 minute left. Any other last sort of questions from folks? Okay. Thank you so much for spending an hour with me today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for the prompts that we'll send around and have fun creating a resume video for yourself or a holiday video for you and your family. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to answer questions there. Kim, thanks so much for facilitating.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on this sidebar session. I think everybody had a great time. The sentiment seems incredibly positive. So thank you, everybody.